Well, my name is Stephanie Jackson, and I teach at Eureka High School primarily. I teach, this is my 24th year of teaching physical education and health, and then I also teach a program called AVID. Yep.
So this past year you made some significant changes in the way you teach your course. Can you tell us a little bit about those changes?
I can, and they were significant. So when it was brought to the light that we were all going to be changing to an online format, I do have to say that I went through some machinations of emotions, because part of the reason that I like to teach is because I like to be with people. And so I felt like I was going to lose that part of it. And then after I got over that, I decided that I was really worried about my content, because I didn't know how I was going to be able to teach the content in the same method or the same way through a different venue. And that's when it all started to change. Because with the help of you, Colby, Christy and I came up with the inner workings of this huge project that you gave us the idea for. And it turned out to be really good, and I think that the students learned a lot.
Excellent. So let's talk a little bit about the big project. What was the big project?
Well, basically it was this open-ended project with very few parameters, and when we talk about how I would change it, I would change the parameter issue. But basically they were given the constructs of how you would put together a physical education department in a new school, or how you would rework one in an existing school, and then they had to come up with all of the little fine-tuned pieces that would go into it.
So they were charged with essentially developing an entire curriculum for a school.
An entire curriculum, including everything that's really unique to physical education, which is how you're going to set up the physical structure of it, and how you're going to work with all the other people in your department who have to share everything. Share classrooms, share equipment, share ideas all the time. So physical education is really unique in that way.
And so how is this project different than in previous years when you've taught this class?
Because we really didn't delve into that aspect of physical education. We talked a lot about the content, the standards, the physical fitness testing in 9th grade, how to work with your colleagues, and how to build lesson plans, how to do assessments, how to basically classroom management. And really, this was the whole big picture all in one project. And I think that they learned a lot more than they learned in our classes previously.
Let's fast forward to the end of the semester, and you mentioned there are some things that you would change. Can you talk a little bit about how the project wrapped up?
The way that we set it up was that every time we met, they had a 15-minute period that they could speak with the superintendent of this supersonic school district that we made up.
And who were the superintendents?
So Christy and I were the co-superintendents, Living Right and Eating Well. And they were to choose a department chair for each section of what they had to create, and then their department chair could ask us questions. They didn't really utilize that very well. We had to make a timeline in the beginning and choose a department chair for each thing, and so when I revamp it, I will make sure that that department chair has questions that are written down for the superintendent, because they didn't utilize our expertise like we would want them to. So I think that because they hadn't done their research when it came time to meet the superintendent, that they didn't have any questions because they didn't know what they didn't know.
Gotcha.
So I would have them pre-submit the questions that they want to ask.
That's a way of scaffolding the project.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that the students were shocked at the end. Why were they shocked? What happened?
Well, we had a panel of principals and physical educators from the area that acted as the school board for the supersonic school district.
So these were active educators, active administrators.
Yeah, so we had 2 administrators, a superintendent, 2 administrators, and 2 physical educators. And so they presented their whole basically their whole department, how they would do everything. and how they would set up their assessments, how they would set up their department shared curriculum, what kinds of things they would do for their mandated testing. And so they presented, each person took a little section to present, and they basically got an average grade. And so after they left, the board discussed it for a long time and didn't feel as though there was really any depth to their presentation, which I agree with. And I think it had to do with there not being enough scaffolding, like you said, or parameters or boundaries put up.
I see.
Yeah.
So even though they got this average score, would you say that they learned a very valuable practical lesson?
Extremely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, now one of the students that are in the class that take that class is our apprentice teacher. And so just listening to her talk while she's preparing lessons or talk about anything that has to do with the inner workings of our department, it's really obvious that she has a really clear picture of how it all comes down. And that's not true before. It just, that they usually apprentice teachers, because it's so incredibly intense, they're just really myopic, super focused on this one little thing. And she has the big picture like, oh.
What advice would you give, a fellow teacher, fellow faculty member, who wants to jump into new ways of teaching, new ways of developing learning experiences, such as your big project idea?
One of the things that I was worried about is that I had no idea, I'd never taken an online class, I had no idea what Moodle was. The whole platform was new to me. So I had this feeling that I was going to be subpar, and that I wasn't going to be able to give them the students what they needed, or what was required. And so I would say my biggest piece of advice is not to worry about that, because the support at Humboldt State for changing platforms is incredible. So there's lots of scaffolding for us too. So I would say also that it's really a positive transition, because it makes you think out of the box. Like now this second semester, I've really been able to do some things that I've never thought of doing before. Just ways of getting information to people that I wouldn't have done before, and I feel good about that.